Hello, everyone. This is Mike Brown, TM Brown author, as y'all know me. And just wanted to give y'all an update. I haven't spoken to y'all through a video in quite some time, and been busy getting hometown novel nights off and running the greater Coweta County, south of Atlanta area this year. But I also have some announcements that I think is very important to share with y'all. We're all leaving the COVID behind finally. But there have been some, tragic situations throughout it. A lot of businesses were affected, and one of them happened to have been, my previous publisher when we tried to bring Purgatory out back almost 2 years ago. He's no longer, they're no longer operating. They're a casualty of the COVID, and thankfully, when I got notified of that situation and was able to. Miss Angela Durden, the publisher and editor of Blue Room Books in Decatur, Georgia, jumped in and she decided to help me out. And so she took on my book, Purgatory, which is the third in the Shiloh Mystery Series. Some of y'all already are familiar with, obviously, Sanctuary, which was the first. Let me get that out of there. Sanctuary was first, and then there was Testament. And then obviously number 3 came Purgatory. Well, now that we're coming out of this COVID situation, I'm going to be going back out, doing more book launches, book events and book signings as I have opportunity to do so. But my book is getting some excellent startup. Thankfully, now that Blue Room Books has got this and has done a fabulous job, actually taking what Southern Fried had attempted to do with my book and even making it better. And I can't say anything rave enough about Blue Room Books and what they're able to do for somebody like me in my book series. One of the things that she allowed me to put into the book is that I now have in the new Purgatory the entire Shiloh character list that covers all of the characters through all 3 of the books. And that's in the very beginning of the book, right after all of the great blurbs and reviews from the book that we've received so far. But there's the character list that runs a couple of pages. It's amazing how once you start to populate a small town like Shiloh, even though it's small, there's a lot of interconnecting characters to which a lot of readers have asked about, and it helps to have that character list to make those connections. So what I wanted to share with you is the book is now available. It's available on Amazon, both in the Kindle version for $7.99, and the paperback is available for $18.95 on Amazon. Many of the bookstores already have copies of Purgatory. They either have the original Purgatory for the last few editions of that, but they're quickly going to be shifting over to the new Purgatory that's been put out by Blue Room Books in the coming weeks and months. So I just want to let you know that it is available. And if you go to tmbrowauthor.com, you'll see on my bookstore page, this is all there now. And matter of fact, there's a notice about it when you first get to the webpage at tmbrowauthor.com. And you'll see the quick links for it and a little bit more information. What I'd like to do is to give you a foretaste of this to kind of help get this thing off and running. And obviously, everybody likes to know that it's a good book, and the reviews on it were excellent, have continued to be excellent that we have. And some of those haven't made the transfer yet on the Amazon site for those that follow the Amazon reviews, which is a reminder that if you are a reader of, any of my books, please leave a review. The value of the reviews is tremendous. And, if you have the opportunity, please, and you've read any of the 3 books, please go back and make sure to leave a review. There's a couple of reviews that I want to mention here that I think are very worthwhile. And one is from a good friend, Jedwin Smith, a 2-time nominated Pulitzer Prize journalist who's also written several outstanding books of his own merit. Most recently, he has, his a journalist and goes into a bar, and a Marine go into a bar, and it is the story of his career as an award-winning journalist at his stage in life, and I just love him dearly and really appreciate him. He has left a review on all three of my books, and this was his most recent one for Purgatory. Amid the patchwork of furrowed cotton and peanut fields, down home country fun at its finest. But when one of Shiloh's citizens purchases an armored limo with a checkered history at a sheriff's used car auction, the town's tranquility is shattered. Dead bodies and broken hearts. Here's a story that will keep you reading to the wee hours. And as I share that with you, I just want to remind you the nice is it is a standalone story. You don't have to have read Sanctuary and Testament. It'd be nice to, and there's certainly things that will help fill in some minor holes that you might find. But you don't need to. The story stands very well on its own from that side of things. Another great review, and there's so many in here. I just want to pick the right ones, not necessarily the right ones, but Jameson Craig is a good author friend who was a Georgia Author of the Year. He's the author of Luck Be a Chicken, a comic novel. But he provided this blurb. He says, mysteries beset the citizenry of a small southern town that exudes contagious countrified wholeness. As you approach the finale, better hold on to your hat. And I will share with you, this is truly a suspense thriller. And while I'm thinking of that, Purgatory did end up being a finalist for the Silver Falcion Award at the 2021 Killer National Conference in Nashville this past summer. So it was stacked up with some of the great reads that encompass, any of the great thriller novels out there and suspense novels that are out there, because Killer Nashville authors that I met are amazing. And I just was humbled that I even got mentioned in the same vein. There's another one I would going to read here is Renee Winchester, who to me put out one of the best Southern fiction stories in the past year amidst all of this COVID. But she said this about Purgatory: the long-awaited finale of the series doesn't disappoint. With barbecue, lightning bugs, and a delightful dialogue, T.M. Brown delivers a gem of a Southern novel to his faithful followers. So I'm honored that Renee Winchester was able to take the time to read Purgatory to provide the advanced blurb on it. And because Renee actually was one of the first editors that actually got to see my manuscript Sanctuary before it actually got published. And she's always been an inspiration ever since I met her at the Georgia Writers Association Red Clay Conference. So here's just a small sample. This is just a small scene, but it introduces to a new character that comes into Shiloh in Purgatory. But it also talks about some of the descriptions that I think a lot of people have seemed to gravitate to, to realize that their reading really is a wholesome, all audience, fun, suspense mystery novel. And that's what it's all about. I'm not a big fan of gratuitous sex, violence, or vulgarity, but because I think a good author can write a story without, bending down to that. So here's a little excerpt. This is coming from the first scene in chapter 2, and I chose that because I'd hate to give away the first chapter. But here's chapter 2. Liddy scurried out the door in higher than usual spirits. It was her second school year as Shiloh High's art teacher, and her students had 3 days left to present their semester portfolios. She also anticipated more of her students would register for the school's new summer art and music camp she and Phoebe Thatcher would be conducting. After Liddy left, I headed for the butcher shop. Though I held no regrets about leaving Atlanta in the hustle and the bustle of suburban life, savoring Bernie Thropey's frothy Mediterranean brew turned into a regular habit on many mornings. For all the steadfast homegrown traditions and tastes one could rely on in a small town like Shiloh, the Greek menu of the butcher shop provided an unexpected yet delightful exception. My ears had even grown accustomed to hearing the Greek accents and slang of the owners, Silas and his wife, Bernie. Likewise, what appeared Greek to me when Liddy and I first entered the butcher shop, tzatziki and falafel and souvlaki and moussaka, not to mention their special gyro and wrap options, I now ordered with far less hesitancy. Though barbecue reigns in the South, Silas and Bernie's Athenian hospitality and mouth-watering fare had carved its own unique niche at the center of our small town. Calimera, my good friend, Silas shouted as I walked in. Well, good morning to you, my good friend. You think I can get my coffee to go this morning? Silas, salt and pepper, bushy mustache, animated his upper lip as he yelled into the kitchen. Mr. Theo's here and ordered his cafes to go this morning. Amanda Baggett, Bernie's niece from Atlanta, and one of Shiloh's newest residents, pranced into the restaurant like a high-spirited filly. She had on a pair of navy running shorts over neon orange capri tights and a sweat-soaked auburn blue sports bra, a long-sleeve athletic shirt wrapped around her trim athletic waist. Her long black ponytail hung limp out of her baseball cap. She leaned over with her hands on her knees to catch her breath, flicked her dangling ponytail off her shoulder, raised her head, and said between gasps, Good morning, Uncle, and you too, Mr. Phillips. Silas grumbled. Morning to you, Mandy. What can I get you to go? He glanced at his watch. Did you have a late start today? Silas peeked toward the kitchen. Mandy nodded as she stood with a crooked smile. Your aunt is not going to be pleased if you don't cover yourself, young lady. Yes, Uncle, I forgot. She untied the athletic shirt and slipped it over her head. As she adjusted her hair and cap, she turned to me and tendered a sheepish, coy smile. Oh, Mr. Phillips, I was sorry to hear about that sweet man, Mr. Edwards. Your article about his legacy made me appreciate why I decided to move here. I'll miss his daily visits at the shop. Before responding to her heartfelt words, I glanced over to Silas where he stood behind Mandy and noticed his mustache-framed grin. Young lady, your decision to reopen Miss Malvinia Elysium Emporium meant a lot to Wiley. Mandy's cheeks flushed deeper and her smile widened. Hey, I heard you'll be one of the Miss Shiloh contestants at this year's festival. Mandy's coy look returned. Well, it sounded like a good opportunity to get a little better known around town. I don't expect to win, but here you go, Mr. Theo. Be careful, my friend. It's still very hot, Bernie said with a warm smile that cooled as she inspected her niece. And what might I get you, Mandy? I imagine you're in a hurry. Mandy's girl grin did not impede Bernie's hasty retreat as she mumbled her disapproval in Greek. Mandy followed hard on her heels, apologizing. Silas crossed his arms. Mr. Theo, please don't misunderstand, but on mornings like this, I'm thankful God chose not to bless us with a daughter. I handed Silas $2 and glanced at a couple enjoying their own private conversation, seemingly unfazed by Mandy's arrival. Oh, go easy on Mandy. Most folks around here don't give a hoot and a holler about all the 21st century changes encroaching upon us. They only fuss at the changes that threaten their personal lives. I'm not so sure Mandy's modern, citified ways are that big of a threat. Besides, she needs them folks to patronize the Emporium, and so far, she appears pretty busy enough. Silas laughed. I know you are right, but try convincing my wife. I think she's a bit hard on Mandy because our son is living with Bernie's sister while he finishes his degree work at Emory. I cannot help but wonder how he's adjusting to the lifestyle changes in Decatur. I wouldn't worry too much, I said, and sipped my coffee. Mandy bolted around the counter with a cup of coffee in one hand and a paper sack in the other. Thank you, Aunt Bernie. You too, Uncle. I got to run home and shower. I pushed the door open. Enjoy your day, Mandy. After she swooshed by, I looked back at Silas. Bernie stood behind him with her hands on the hip. I shook my head and said, y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Well, that's just a small sample, and it introduces you to Mandy, who plays a key role in a lot of the story. that moves forward in Purgatory as you get to be introduced to the Miss Shiloh contest and this wonderful armored limo that comes into town with a checkered past that plays very large in the story. As a young Catholic teenager comes into the town looking for family that she has never known about. So if you would, come and invest in the book Purgatory and find out all the thrilling mystery storyline that exists inside the story that I think you'll find encapsulating. And maybe when you get done, you may be happy with just reading this, but then again, you may be curious enough to want to go back and pick up a copy of Sanctuary and Testament to get the full grasp of all of the characters and how they played up into the story. So again, I want to thank everybody who has been investing in all of my books. Please visit tmbrownauthor.com, go on Amazon and look up Purgatory, A Progeny's Quest, or you can go to my TM Brown Author Amazon author page there and certainly order there. Or you can go straight to Blue Room Books in Decatur, Georgia, and you can order the books right from them as well. So I look forward to it. And if you're in Noonan, I got to put a quick applause to Corner Arts Gallery is the closest thing you're going to find to a bookstore in historic downtown Noonan, which is where Shiloh got its birth, by the way. And inside the Corner Arts Gallery is their growing local author book nook, which I've been glad to be supporting and helping for the last 5 years. And there's now almost 150 titles on all of the bookshelves that are inside the store, surrounded by all of the arts and crafts and paintings and all that they do there, in addition to having this growing bookstore too. So stop in and greet Miss Jenny Jones at Corner Arts Gallery and tell her I sent you. And I think you'll be well pleased to see all of the opportunities that you can buy for gifts for your family, including a bunch of great books by Georgia authors. Thank you. God bless. And please give me an email, give me a shout out. Let me know how you enjoyed the story. Thank you.